Hello everybody, welcome back to Clay Comms here for the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. We're back here tonight for round 14 of 24 for this season 13. Sorry about the last couple of race nights we've had, obviously last Thursday and Tuesday this week as well. I wasn't feeling too well on Tuesday, so I wasn't around. Thursday night might have been my fault, but yeah, unfortunately because of that, it's been about over a week since we've last broadcast the league. We missed 2 races. So far this season, we missed 4 races. So tonight puts back on 70% attendance for the broadcast, which is not really what I'd hoped for this season. I do hope to be doing a better job in the second half of the season, that is for sure, in terms of the turnouts for my attendance to stream these races. But nonetheless, coming into tonight, we've got the championship really back on actually in the last 2 races. I was very shocked to read actually the current standings, because Justify was the runaway leader last time. Obviously we streamed here at Purple Sector, but as of now the championship is back wide open again, because we've got Clen, the reigning champion, now leading the championship by 2 points. So Clen on 203 points, 2 points ahead of Justify, who sits in second place on 201 points. It is extremely tight here between these top 2 at the top of the standings here. So it's absolutely incredible to see how that gap has, well, not just narrowed down, but it's literally reversed. So yeah, I mean, cracking job from Clen obviously in the last 2 races, but I can't even imagine how that happened. Justify must have had an absolute mare over the last 2 races, but nonetheless they're 2 points separating the top 2. Scott very much in this fight for the title as well. He's currently in 3rd place on 167 points, only 36 points back. That's a win and a half. So certainly one bad result for these top 2, and Scott's right back in the fight, Kimi Räikkönen style, or potentially Max Verstappen style this season, who knows. But he's coming into the pits, currently provisional pole at the moment. Then in 4th place in the standings is G.C. having a cracking season so far this season. Is G.C. currently out there on a flying lap. Let's see what G.C. can do. He comes to the line, and it's P2 there for G.C. Only 0.04 of a second off of the provisional fastest time there being set by Scott. So that's very nice there indeed from G.C. Got Rexy Boy in 5th in the standings on 89 points. Rexy Boy not here tonight. His teammate Street Boy is in the Ferrari. Then we've got Mark in 6th place in the standings on 81 points. Mark currently P5 in this session as Justify goes top of the leaderboard there, puts it on provisional pole, and Clen follows him up there into 2nd place. So the top 2 in the championship currently occupying the top 2 spots here after the first runs. But back to the championship standings, we've got Matty in 7th place in the standings on 80 points, followed by T, who's in 8th place on 74 points. T's currently in P5 in this session at the moment. And you've got Draga in 9th on 55 points. Draga's currently there at the moment in the pits, followed by Faulkner in 10th on 34 points. Faulkner back on track here tonight, currently on a flying lap as we speak actually. Street Boy in 11th place in the standings on 16 points, and then we've got Oliver, who's in 12th place on 7 points. There he is. Oh, there we go. That's Mark. But yeah, we've got Rock in 13th place on 6 points. Rock's not here tonight either. Trucky on 6 points as well, in 14th place. Then you got John in 15th on 6 points. White Shadow in 16th place on 2 points, and then Wild Pluto and Ireland, the 2 permanent drivers who haven't scored points so far this season. So that's the championship standings. But after the first qualifying runs coming in, it's Justify on provisional pole from Clen, with Scott there in 3rd place. G.C. is out on the track at the moment, but I think is actually might be on a flying lap here. Let's jump on board. Let's see what G.C. can do on this lap here, currently coming through towards the end of the first sector. 9 thousandths of a second up through the first sector, so obviously fine margins here in this session, only 2.5 tenths off a pole. So yeah, but I mean 9 thousandths isn't going to cut in at the moment, but who can see, or rather who can know what's going to happen over the course of the rest of this lap, as G.C. here coming through the middle sector right now here in Hungary. But yeah, has had at least one win this season as G.C. I'm going to have to brush myself up on the results over the last week, because obviously I haven't been around. Oh, G.C. is finding a massive chunk of time there in the middle sector. Found 2.5 tenths just in that one part of the lap alone. So if he can keep it together through this final sector, for these final couple of corners, then G.C. will be on provisional pole here. So obviously the track ramping up. I'm sure that the improvements that he's found in the middle sector will continue to find that trend in the final sector as he comes over the line, and G.C. does put it on pole by just over a tenth of a second. So at the moment, as we're still not even at the halfway point in the session, G.C. is currently top of the standings here. We've got T on a flying lap at the moment as well, as C. Fulton has got into P6 with that latest lap. We've got Mark on an out lap at the moment, Oliver's in the pits, Matty pit and Draga are both on flying laps at the moment. So John and Truckee are out on the track getting ready to go for another lap here, but let's see what T's able to do. Oh, his T's backed out of it here, so T's done for this current lap, as we just saw the other McLaren there of Mark coming past. Obviously the on an out lap there at the moment is Mark. But C. Faulkner, with a decent lap there, has got into P6 as he's currently on an in lap, ready to come back into the pits at the end of this one. You would have thought. What about Draga? Draga's just coming to the end of coming to the end of the straight there. Having just done a lap good enough for P9, so that's not too bad there from Draga. Matty's currently coming through the final sector, but has backed off enormously and is going to be coming into the pits in a second. John's on a flying lap. Truckee is also on a flying lap. So let's keep an eye on these guys, see what they're able to do. Here's John currently in the Sauber. Oh, he's always in the Sauber. Oh, as he gets really loose there onto the curb. Had a bit of traffic there, which might have distracted him a little bit. Caused him to just make a hash of the corner, but nonetheless into the final couple of corners he comes. He's 4/10 up on his personal best at the moment. Can he move ahead of Street Boy? Because Street Boy's only 6/10 ahead of him on the leaderboard here. So John through the final corner, taking a tight line there through that final corner, almost tagging the wall as he comes up towards the line and stays in P12 for the time being, but did improve his lap time by 3/10, so not a bad effort at all there from the from John there. We've got Truckee coming through the in towards the final sector now. He's currently on an in lap, so he's not going to be improving for the time being. Justify and Glenn, the two big guns in the championship, are back out on the track. You've got Scott, who could be the dark horse to these two in this season's title race, currently out there at the moment, and is currently improving through the first sector as well. So a 10.5 up through the first sector. He's going to be looking to try and build on that over the course of the rest of the lap here. It's the middle sector where you can really find the time. That's the part of the track where you can make or break your lap, really, because you've got the trickiest parts of the circuit through this part of the lap, and you really need to find a flow and get into a rhythm. If you want to have any chance of keeping the tyres good, but also of making sure you strike the best lap time. Scott did go very wide there. Did he invalidate his lap time? It would have been quite close, I have to say. 2/10 up for the middle sector, but I think he may have to abort this lap here because he was definitely 4 wheels off of the track. I don't know what the qualifying rules are in this purple sector F1 league, but I have a feeling that if the rules are on strict, that may have been a track limits violation. But nonetheless, up towards the line comes Scott, and he goes up into 4th place. So it looked like it was a valid lap time, but couldn't find the time nonetheless. So probably lost more time than he gained coming through that corner, and as a result, the game didn't rule out his lap. But Justified nonetheless is on a flying lap here. So is G. Or G.C. will be in a second. In fact, G.C. is just coming out of the pits now. So Justify currently on a flying lap. So is Clen. Let's jump on board with the championship leader Clen and the reigning champion of this purple sector Formula 1 league as he now comes towards the final corner. He's going to have a Red Bull just up ahead of him, but he's not going to meet it before he gets to the line. So let's see what Clen's able to do. Up towards the line he goes. It's going to be pole by a long way here. It's 4/10 of a second. He extends the margin by, so Clen is up and away ahead of everybody else at the moment. We've got Justify coming into the final sector, and is Justify able to find 6/10? I doubt that's going to be on the cards here. It'd be a heck of a lap, heck of an effort. He's able to do that, and Justify is coming into the pits, so it's not going to be an improvement. It's not going to be provisional pole for the time being for Justify. We've got G.C. on an out lap, so we'll be starting a lap in a moment's time. Matty has gone into 4th place on his last lap, so Matty Pitt is right up there now in the mix as well. Completely missed him. I was kind of watching those top 4 challenging for pole, but yeah, Matty's definitely thrown his hat into the mix there. I mean, he's 6/10 off pole at the moment, but he's certainly in the fight for the front 2 rows here. Scott with work to do, currently in 5th place. T's currently on a lap at the moment. Let's see what T's able to do as he comes through the chicane. Currently at P6 in this session. It's quite a tight leaderboard from basically second down, to be honest. From second down to 8th place, you've got 7 cars separated by half a second, but Clen at this moment appears to be in a bit of a league of his own. Here comes Thielen down the hill into the final sector, 2 tenths up at the moment, as we see the Red Bull there getting well out of the way. That would probably be, it's either, it could be G.Cedar or Truckee, to be fair, I don't actually know. Although G.Cedar I think is on a lap, so it would most likely be Truckee who's on an in lap, I would have thought. But T over the line, and can he improve? He does improve, up into 4th place there. Pushes Matty down a position, so lovely up there from T, and definitely very much in the thick of it at the moment. G.Cedar coming down the hill, 12 thousandths up through the middle sector, so you need to find 4.5 tenths just in this final sector alone to be on provisional pole. That might be a little bit of a tall task here for him, as we now come in towards the final corner here at the Hungary ring for G.Cedar. Should have time to get back in and do another lap, but would love to be up there, and he improves his lap time slightly, but not by enough. 3 tenths shy of the provisional pole sitter Clen, who seems to really be flying around the Hungary ring tonight. I tell you that, Clen is really on a mission here by the looks of it. Justify's already out there on his outlap, so he's already getting ready to go for another lap. Did not waste any time in that pit garage messing around. Has got a fresh set of boots on and is going for it here. I wonder if Justify's hoping to do 2 laps. I wouldn't have thought that would be possible here, because Justify will be coming into the pits with around 2 minutes left after this. That's if he keeps it planted throughout his in lap. So I reckon that Justify is only going to get this 1 lap here, which is going to put him on massively on the back foot here, because Justify is not going to be able to make the most of the track evolution. So this could be well, this is a real maker or breaker here for Justify. He's got to nail this lap here. He's got to absolutely hit every apex, carry as much speed as possible, be on the power as soon as possible out of every corner, just be absolutely nailing the lap in every single part. But here we go then. The long-time championship leader this season has been headed by last season's champion Clen by just 2 points going into this round, so we'll be looking to really try and come and bounce back here tonight in Hungary as we come out the exit of turn 3, and up the hill we go to where Massa had his crash many years ago. 10th up for the first sector for Justify, so that's pretty solid so far, but was a little bit more tight there going through that corner than it'd like to be on that right hand side. That gutter on the inside, it really does send you as far away from it as it can. But at the moment, Justify looking pretty good here on this lap. Pretty tidy there through that sequence. This is a real hard corner if you want to try and nail a lap. It's quite bad if you're feeling tense, but 4 tenths up through the middle sector is Justify, so yeah, looking pretty good at the moment, I have to say. Here we go then. Now it's just the final 2 corners, so he's found 4 tenths in the first 2 sectors. If we can find another 2 tenths in the final sector, it will be provisional pole for the RB Cash App driver. Here we come through the final corner for Justify, as we now put to the floor to the line, and it is P2 for Justify. Misses out by 0.5 tenth of a second, so Clen for the time being clinging on to pole position, and I don't think Justify is going to have a chance to get another lap in. No, it hasn't got enough fuel, so that's going to be that then. So Clen will breathe a sigh of relief there, seeing that, knowing that he might be safe here, although you've still got G.Cedar, who could potentially be putting in a lap. Scott is also out there, although Scott's current best time is 7 tenths of a second off, so he's got a heck of a lot of work to do. G.Cedar hasn't even left the pits yet, and we've only got a minute and a half left in this session, so is that his car at the end of the pits now? It'll have to be, otherwise he's going to be in real trouble here. I think G.Cedar is out of qualifying, so it's going to be P... No, he's not. He's just got out onto the track. He's just got himself out there, out of the first corner. He's going to have to go flat out on this outlap here, is G.Cedar. So the tyre warm-up is not going to be ideal at all, but at least he'll get a chance to put a lap in. Matty has put it P3, so a fantastic lap there from Matty. Only 3 tenths off for the fastest time there, our champion from 2 seasons ago. Has done an absolute scorcher there. Currently put it 5 thousandths of a second ahead of G.Cedar. T's currently P5. Is he going to improve? He's improved actually on that last lap there, I think. So, yeah. I was saying that, no, he was already in the 1 minute 16. So, maybe it was an invalid lap time there from T. Or is he on a flyer now? Keep an eye on the top right. He's a tenth and a half down. I mean, that would indicate he's on a flyer. I don't know, maybe that last lap was invalid, potentially. I'm not quite sure. So I don't think T's on a valid lap time at the moment. Nonetheless, we've got the provisional pole sitter coming through into the final sector. He's currently finding 400ths of a second. He's not setting the world alight compared to his previous times, but he's certainly improving a little bit by bit. Incremental gains here for the championship leader. In towards the final corner we go here at the Hungary, looking to take another pole position here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League as he comes out of the final corner now. Glenn to the line, and he does improve very, very slightly. It wasn't necessary, but he's certainly gone and delivered there. 600ths of a second, he is quicker than Justify, so a marginal pole position there for the championship leader over his championship rival. As G.C. coming through the first sector, 500ths of a second down. Could still be on for pole here if he nails these next two sectors. He'd need to find 2/10 in each of these next two sectors to have a chance of taking pole. But if he can do that, G.C. could be on here. The track evolution is going to be at its maximum here. So let's see. He goes a bit wide there. Did that lose him time? Did it invalidate his lap? That's the most important question, I think. G.C. here coming into the final sector now. 700ths of a second down. If he finds a 10th in this final sector, he'll be able to put himself into P3 ahead of Matty Pitt. So there's still time on the table. There's still opportunities here for G.C. Bit of a slide there through the penultimate corner. Here we come into the final corner now. G.C. currently on the second row. Drauger there has got into 5th place. So lovely up there from Drauger at the end. But G.C. over the line and stays in 4th place. So can't improve. Matty Pitt has done a fantastic qualifying session there, putting it in P3. But that is that then for this qualifying session here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League for round 14 of the season here in Hungary. And that is, well, that's your lot here for the qualifying. So Glenn, Justify, Matty Pitt and G.C. the top 4 drivers, with Drauger in 5th place ahead of Scott, Mark, T, Oliver and C. Faulkner rounding out the top 10. And then you've got Street Boy, Trocky and John rounding out the classification here. Obviously we're missing a few drivers here tonight, so that's a shame, but yeah, nonetheless, that is that. So it's definitely looking like a dry race here tonight, I'll tell you that for sure. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fascinating championship battle here this season, with Glenn and Justify only 2 points apart. It's definitely title back on for Glenn. I mean, it was looking a few rounds ago like he was probably not going to have much of a chance, but he's really brought himself back into it now. And Scott as well, definitely you can't rule him out, only 36 points behind. So, with these drivers all up there in the mix, although Scott starting in P6 tonight, I don't want to say it's just between Glenn and Justify, but they are definitely looking like they are the two contenders. In terms of outright pace, in terms of consistency, maybe Glenn's got a little bit more, especially with the experience of having put a championship together in the past. But yeah, here we are then. 13 drivers getting away, so only 2 drivers have not gone for the medium tyres. That's T and John. Everyone else has gone for the mediums.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
So here we go then, guys, coming out of the final corner here at the Hungary for the formation lap. We're moments away from the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. This is round 14 of 24 for season 13 across all platforms. So who's going to get off the line better? Is it going to be Glenn or is it going to be Justify? As these two, it's all eyes to the lights here, with 2 points separating these drivers on the front row of the grid. And it's 5 lights, and it's lights out. We're underway, and I think Justify got quite a good start there, but Klen is going to lead us comfortably coming down towards turn 1 as we see G.C. looking to the inside here of Matty pit into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make that move? You can see there Drauga holding it around the outside of Scott for the time being. T and Mark side by side in the background as well as they come down towards turn 2, but Klen has got the lead comfortably here as they come through the corner, as everybody else seems to be pretty clean there. We've got C. Faulkner on the outside of T as looking like C. Faulkner on the outside of Oliver, should I say, as Oliver they're keeping it around the outside coming through turn 3 for the time being, but C. Faulkner there has managed to get back ahead there into 9th place around the outside of turn 4. Klen though leading us as they come down towards the chicane for the first time. There's Justify ahead of Matty with G.C. and you've got Scott there moving ahead of Drauga up into 5th place around the outside of the chicane there. Beautifully done there from him, or around the outside of the second part of the chicane. Anyway, we've got Freddie in the comments says, how's it going? Hello Freddie, good to see you, mate. How are you doing? I saw you not in the championship standings anymore. I was a bit shocked, mate. How are you doing? Are you alright? Good to see you. We've got but anyway, we've got Oliver looking down the inside of C. Faulkner, but a little bit too far back there going into the final sector. But yeah, Freddie, I was a bit worried when I saw you weren't in the standings. Is everything alright? But here we are then, at the end of the first lap. We've got Klen leading ahead of Justify with Matty pit in 3rd place, and G.C. has just dropped a little bit off of these guys over the first lap or so. He's now a second adrift of Matty, so just seems to be falling away ever so slightly. We've got C. Faulkner all over the back of T as they're going into turn 1. Street Boy in the pits at the end of the first lap, so that's gone a disaster there for Street Boy, I tell you that. And Street Boy is going to be on the back foot. Well, you would imagine for the rest of this race, but yeah, long way back here for him. But in the meantime, Klen leading by just over a second at the moment. Justify Matty. There's G.C. and Scott with Drauga, Mark, T. Oh no, really? Oh mate, that sucks. I mean, you should probably join Red Arrows, mate. It's on Mondays. I commentate on it. I think there's 2 tiers. You might have to you'll have to apply your trade in the second tier, because I commentate on the top tier. So, mate, that's annoying. That's annoying. I was thinking of starting a league at some point. I'll definitely get one going on Motive again. Probably be on Sundays or something. Maybe Saturday. I don't know. But yeah, that's annoying, man. Anyway. If you got me on Discord, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we'll sort something out at some point. But anyway, here we are then, over the line to complete lap 2 of the race. Yeah, definitely. Klen, though, in the meantime, still leading, as we can see. Oh, we've got a bit of contact there going into turn 1, as G.C. has been passed there by Scott, although he's got a better exit coming out of turn 1. And G.C. back up into 4th place there ahead of Scott. So Scott tried to make the move, couldn't make it stick there. There's a bit of bodywork flying off of one of the cars, which is definitely going to be affecting one of their performances here, as Drauga's now looking pretty hungry on the back of Scott. So it might be Scott there with a bit of damage, which has obviously cost him a bit of time here. So that's that's a bit of a bummer there for him, I have to say. But in the meantime, it is still Klen ahead of Justify by half a second. You've got Matty a couple of seconds back, G.C. and Scott about a second behind him. Drauga keeping the pressure here on Scott at the moment in this fight for P5. So these two running pretty close at the moment, and Drauga looking to try and get on with this as quickly as he can. I think Scott might have picked up damage there. We saw the bodywork flying off of the car, one of the cars going through turn 1. I'm pretty sure it must have been Scott, because he seems to be struggling over the course of this lap. But there are the 2 leaders here. Justify is definitely going to have a chance as Scott is into the pits, so definitely damage there for the Aston. But Justify a little bit too far back on Klen into turn 1. There's Matty and G.C. going into turn 1 in the background, as T's looking to get onto the back of his teammate Mark if he possibly can. There's Oliver still keeping C. Faulkner on his toes at the moment as well. There's Scott in the pits. Street Boy going through the final couple of corners at the moment, but Klen still out the front with the ascendancy here in this race. Justify ahead of 3 seconds ahead of Matty Pitt, who's running in 3rd place at this point. But G.C. piling the pressure on the back of Matty in his fight for 3rd place. Justify though, looking at what's going on here? As Clen's gone wide and Justify swoops around the outside, going into the penultimate corner. Clen must have got it horribly wrong there, going into that right-hander just before you come into the final sector, and that is all that Justify needed. But now Clen's got the DRS going down to start-finish straight, could potentially try and come back at him here, but he's too far away, I think, to make that happen into turn 1. Justify has the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix here at purple sector, so Clen with a small mistake. G.C. looking to the inside there, Matti, but too far back going into turn 1, as Mark was also looking on the back of Drauger as well. Still nothing doing in that exchange there, but Justify is the new race leader, having capitalised on Clen running a bit wide through the third to last corner. That's all he needed there to pick up the reins here in this race. C. Faulkner's now got a 3-second penalty for track limits, as we see Faulkner also coming into the pits here at the end of lap 5, or lap 4 even. In fact, no, what's going on there? I thought it was coming into the pits. No, maybe not. Okay, sorry, that's just I don't know what I was seeing there. Anyway, never mind. Right. What was I see? What did I see there that made me think he's coming into the pits? Something came up on the screen that made me think he was coming into the pits, and I don't know what it was, and I cannot rationalise it for the life of me. So I'm just going to forget about it. Anyway, Clen here on the back of Justify. Justify is getting closer to the back of or getting closer to the front end of Clen here. Clen certainly keeping him close, except himself tighted to the back of Justify. As he now come out of the final corner here, he'll have a chance down the start-finish straight with the DRS, but a little bit too far away just at the moment. Justify doesn't need to defend that one just yet. The gap's not close enough. Oh, it's G.C. Very close on the back of Matty Pit there into turn 1. As in the background there, T still trying to attack on his teammate Mark, but Mark's still holding firm at the moment. Truckee still keeping close to the back of Oliver as well, as John knocking on the door of a points paying position here for P10. As Clen's got back ahead of Justify. Oh, as Justify has made a mistake here. What has happened to Justify? Must have been a mistake there coming out, coming through turn 4. Must have spun on that curb, going through the right-hander. So Justify there has lost out to Matty and is now in the thick of this battle here with Matty and G.C. Drauger as well. And that is a disaster for Justify, who obviously came into this race 2 points behind Clen in the championship, having had a runaway lead only 3 races ago. So Clen will be absolutely singing out in front at the moment, because he'll know that Justify in the wars, as G.C. made a mistake there and has lost out to Drauger. So Drauger there around the outside of G.C. into 4th place. But that is, I mean, Justify is going to be fuming with that, absolutely fuming. And has now got it all to do. He's on the back of Matty, so this is going to be a move into turn 1. Justify looking to the inside. Is a job done there for Justify, or is it? Because Matty's still keeping himself there. Bit of contact there between the two of them. Who gets DRS there? It's Justify who gets DRS, and that should get the move done here into turn 2. And it does get the move done, and Justify into 2nd place. So he gets that job done there. Finally, does Justify. G.C. still attacking on Drauger at the moment in a fight for P4, as T still can't get ahead of his teammate Mark here for P6 either, and Truckee there has moved ahead of Oliver up into P8 going through turn 3. So yeah, action going all over the place at the moment. Didn't see what happened there to Oliver. Oh no, Oliver's lost it, and he's binned it into the barriers there. He's going to have big damage there on the left hand side of that car, because that was a hefty whack into the barriers there for Oliver. So that's going to be a bit of a frustrating moment there for him, for sure. So Oliver down to P12 in all of that. Scott, having been into the pits, is currently running in 11th place, although the pit stop was for damage, but maybe he might try and turn it into a tactical pit stop, because obviously on this game you do have to pit twice around pretty much every circuit, and I can't imagine that the Hungaroring of all places would be any different. So I would strongly suspect that it's not going to affect the strategy too much if we can do 2 hard tyre stints. It should be okay. Nonetheless, C. Faulkner here on the back of Truckee makes the move into 8th place very easily indeed there going into turn 1. That's job done there for the cash-up car. Drauger here looking pretty tight on the back of Matty at the moment as well for 3rd place. G.C. in the background there, about a second behind these, still keeping himself just about in DRS. Always G.C. there with a 3-second penalty. So now becomes the third driver in this race alongside C. Faulkner and John to have picked up a 3-second penalty so far. It's not a good stage in the race to get a 3-second penalty because, I mean, you're treading carefully for the rest of the race, that's for sure. So C. Fortin has got a 3-second penalty in the meantime for track limits. And Mark's coming into the pit, should I say. So lap 8 of the race. It's an early pit stop for Mark here. Got to say, was under pressure from his teammate T for a little while. Maybe the team, or maybe they've said to each other, look, you come in, let's not affect our strategy too much here. But T now into clean air on the hard tyres, in a very good position, I have to say, actually. T only about 8 seconds off of the lead, obviously on the more durable tyre, so could do something here from P6, not too far away off of the podium either. So T holds a few cards at the moment, currently running in P6. Scott's got ahead of John up into P9. So obviously Scott's come in for a pit stop at the end of lap 3. And is now starting to make a bit of headway here. It's now got Truckee just up the road from him running in 8th place. And importantly for Scott as well, he got a massive undercut on, well, I suppose Mark, he was ahead of Mark before the pits, but he's come out 7 seconds ahead of Mark, which would probably put him, I'd say, in at least a net P2 here. I'd say Scott's probably going to come out ahead of Justify, all being well for him. Scott now makes the move on Truckee without any issues there. Up into P8 goes Scott. So that's another position gained there for him. So yeah, certainly on the cards here for Scott to, I would say, get on the podium for sure. That's got to be the aim at this stage in the race. Maybe even get ahead of Justify. But Glenn is just out and away out front, is flying in this race. We saw Justify making a mistake, trying to keep up with Glenn in the early stages. We know Justify's got the pace of Glenn at times, but on a consistent basis it can really get tricky. Trying to match this man. The gap's staying at 3 seconds for the time being, so if Justify can maintain that gap for the foreseeable, he'll certainly keep Glenn under some pressure here. But he's just not close enough at the moment to really have Glenn under any particular concern at this stage here in the race. Matty's still running in third place with Draga and G.C. pretty close behind. Oh, we're going to see some moves here coming into turn 1. We can see Draga looking to the outside now on Matty, a little bit too far away going to turn 1. Matty holding his line nicely going through turn 1 there as Draga looked to the inside. Nothing doing here for the Haas car at the moment. G.C. still waiting in the background, but just a little bit too far away there as Scott's moved ahead of C. Faulkner up into 7th, although C. Faulkner looking back to the inside here down towards turn 2. Is he going to make that move? He's not going to there. So Faulkner for the time being still remains in 8th place. Gap's come down a little bit here between Glenn and Justify. Gap now 2.8 seconds. It's come down about 4 tenths in the last lap actually. So Justify really starting to eat into the lead here of Glenn, which is definitely what he needs at this point. We're currently watching the trio, or actually soon to be quartet, battling over third place because Matty, Draga, G.C. and now T in this fight here. T on those hard tyres, now starting to reap the benefits of the struggles that he would have felt in the first few laps being on the slower tyre. But this traffic, this trio in front of him, will certainly not be helping his strategy here in this race. So we're looking to the inside there. T just had a little peek there on G.C. into turn 1, but wasn't really close enough to think about it. As C. Faulkner into the pits, so's John. And T there looking all over the back of G.C. there into turn 4 up the hill, but just a little bit too far back there at the moment. So there's G.C. coming into the pits here at the end of lap 12. So now going for a bit of an undercut here on the likes of those guys around him, Justify, Matty, Draga. Got to try something here to try and get the jump. You have slightly older tyres, but you will most likely have track position if you can nail the outlap. But it all depends on whether you got a clear track in front of you. As Mark's coming down the start finish straight, so Mark they're moving ahead of G.C. comfortably as well. Scott obviously well up the road from these two, having pitted very early on and got a big undercut. And Scott's been flying actually here in this race. To be fair, he's got the undercut on Clen as well. Albeit Clen will have much fresher tyres when he puts his tyres on. Is this going to be a one-stop race? I mean, I can't see it happening, but maybe drivers are going to try and do this. It would be an incredible feat. I have to say, if anyone is able to make it work. But I mean, it looks like they might be trying it for sure. But Scott obviously has been into the pits already, so he'll be hoping that it is the two-stop race for everyone. But yeah, the undercut that he's managed to get in his first stint really is pretty significant. As we see now Clen into the pits, so is Justify. I would have thought Matty will be following them in as well in a second. Yeah, he is. Draga in as well. T staying out on his hard tyres, which he started the race on. Pardon me. So I wonder if any drivers are going to try and put the... Maybe they can put the soft on at the end, because doing 13 laps on the mediums, I don't know, maybe, 17 laps on the hards, 16 laps on the hards, maybe a shorter stint on the softs, I don't know. Are these drivers going to try and do 22 laps or 23 laps on the hard tyres? Or mark 25 laps, or, you know, or 26 even, or maybe, you know, Scott's surely not going to try and do 30 laps on the hard tyres. You wouldn't think, would you? Or 32 laps on the hard tyres. I just wouldn't think that would be possible, but who knows? Who knows? I wouldn't have thought they'd be trying to do it, but it's going to be exciting to see, nonetheless. So C4 has got a 3-second time penalty here for track limits. So that's now 2 penalties. I'm sure it is for C. Faulkner. I think he must have 6 seconds now worth of penalties. Here comes Clen here, looking to the inside now of Scott into turn 1. Is this going to be a job done here for Clen? I think it is. It is job done there. Clen up the inside into second place. Scott could do nothing about it there as they now come down towards turn 2. And Clen has made that move stick brilliantly there. As Justify will be looking to try and get into this as quickly as possible, because obviously Scott hasn't, well, hasn't pitted now for a number of laps, so Justify will be wanting to get this move done as quickly as possible to minimise the time loss that he can suffer behind the Mercedes car. Oh, as Clen's got a 3-second penalty, so Justify will be seeing that and will certainly be taking a bit of solace from that. He needs to get ahead of Scott quickly though, and Scott's not going to be in any mood to get by, to wave him by, because obviously Scott's got a race of his own here to try and fight for. Surely he's going to be fighting for a podium, you would think, but Justify can't move ahead of Scott at the moment, so Justify now over 3 seconds behind Clen, and that opportunity that he would have been seeing there with that 3-second penalty flashing up for Clen, maybe now starting to already fade away here as we come out the final corner here. So now Justify will make that move and will get DRS down the straight as well, but he's lost at least 2 seconds there. The gap was 2 seconds to Clem before. Justify was stuck behind Scott. Now it's only it's gone down by 4 down to 2 seconds, so yeah, it's come down by a bit there for sure. But Claire now stuck behind T a little bit, and here's the thing. Obviously, what happened to Justify a few moments ago now appears to be happening to Clen, because Clen can't just drive through T. Oh no! Justify's lost it in the background. Oh my goodness, I just saw the car in the background go round into the wall. He's lost the front right end plate of his car, and that is going to be huge implications in the championship there for Justify, as Scott makes his way through up into 3rd place. Justify is going to have to be in the pits now. Oh, he would have been praying for a safety car, but it didn't happen. The end plate must be off of the racing line. He's staying out, so Justify isn't coming in, and he's going to try and weather the storm with the damage. What's he doing? What is he doing? I mean, that's surely not going to be the right course of action here for Justify. You're much better off. Surely you're not going to lose a second a lap. Or surely you're going to lose more than a second a lap, should I say. You would think. But Justify, nonetheless, down to P5. Really struggling here. It's going to be having unbelievable understeer. I can't see why Justify didn't box at the end of that lap there. That to me makes no sense whatsoever. Could probably go to the end on a set of hard tyres now. Just put another set of hard tyres and go to the end and try and limit the damage. But no, that's gone horrendously wrong there. Obviously, I just saw in the background as Clem was making a move on T, and the gap had come down briefly down to 2 seconds there between Clem and Justify, and I was thinking, oh, it's going to be battle on again, but it's all gone away from him as quickly as it was looking to be back on here. As G.C. now attacking on Scott. This is for 3rd and 4th places, what could be for a podium by the end of the ride. It's going to be a podium. It's a podium now, obviously with Justify spinning, so how quickly things turn around here for sure. So Justify into the pits at the end of lap 17. No surprise with that one, I have to say. G.C. made the move on Scott into 3rd place into turn 1. That is for the podium places so far, as Drauga's still ahead of Mark in the battle for 6th. There's Justify into the box. Oh, what a disaster there for the driver who's led the championship for much of this season so far. But Clen is now going to take a big championship relisting stand. If the race were to end right now, Clen would have a 27-point lead in the title battle. So things have well and truly swung in the favour of the reigning champion. As Draga's got a 3-second penalty here, and Matty's moved ahead of Scott as well now, so Scott kind of going backwards here. I don't know what's happened to Scott, but he's now 3 seconds behind G.C. And Scott, oh, he's missing his front left end plate. What is going on here? So now Draga's looking to try and keep up behind him. C. Fortner's out of the race. He's now retired. We've got double waved yellow flags through sector 2, and we've got a safety car. So it is official. Safety cars out here at the end of lap 18. That's going to give everybody a free pit stop and maybe give Justify a bit of a route back into this race here. So who knows what's going to happen now in the second half of this race. Here we go then, guys. Moments away from the restart here for the Hungarian Grand Prix here at the Purple Sector Formula 1 League. As we've got G.C. now leading us on these worn out hard tyres. The likes of Clen, Matty, T, Scott, Mark, all on freshish tyres. Justify stayed out on not perfect tyres, but they're okay. So here we go then. Over the lines, or into turn 1 to restart the race, as G.C. holding on to the lead into turn 1. Looks like there's no position changes so far, although Clen there getting around the outside into turn 2. He's made that move, stick on Drago up into second place. Looking down the order, I don't think there's any other position changes right now. We've got, hold on, as we've got John there moving ahead of Oliver there onto the grass there, coming out of turn 2 and gets passed around the outside by Street Boy. So Oliver there down to 12th place, and a horrendous restart there for Oliver. As we go back to the leaders here, we've got Matty Pitt on board with him, running in 4th place at the moment. You've got G.C. Clen Draga just in front of him at the moment. The drivers on the hard tyres might have a bit of an advantage here. Matty and Scott could be in a prime position here. These guys definitely won't have to pit again, and yeah, their tyres are going to be much fresher than the guys in front of them. Clen and T will have good tyres, but I'd say that Matty and Scott could be, I think, the big contenders here. And Scott with no penalties as well, running in P6 right now. He'll be right there in these closing stages of the race. But at the moment, G.C. on his worn out hard tyres, leads coming into the final corner. There's Clen, who's looking pretty racy on the back of him. Clen will be able to get on as quickly as possible, because these medium tyres are not going to be in good shape by the end. They'll get to the end, but at what cost? As we now come into turn 1, it's Clen round the outside of G.C. into turn 1. This is going to be job done here as they come into turn 2. Surely on the outside, they're side by side here. White Joe says, give me the synopsis on the race. Okay, where do we start? So yeah, Justify and Clem were battling in the opening stages. Justify binned it into the wall, came in for an unscheduled stop, damage repairs, dropped down the order. Safety cars brought him back into the mix. He's running in P8. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Well, Clen's obviously had the lead most of it. You know, since then. Oh no, what's going on? What's going on? Hold on. Wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, the lobby's shut down. Well, what are we going to do now? Well, shit. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Well, that's it. The race has ended early tonight. I don't quite know what to say. Fucking hell. Okay. Right. Does anyone know what's going on, guys? Can anyone let me know, please? I think I've just disconnected, so I'm gonna just try and join back. Give me a second.
It's Ferrari.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Wait, did everyone get kicked out of the race because it's the end of the fan zone season? Is that what's happened here? I think everyone's got kicked out at 9 PM because the fan zone season ends and it's caused the servers to crash. Is that what's happened? That's a guess, by the way. I don't actually have a clue, but that's a complete guess as to what's happened, because I can't figure out any other potential reason why that's happened. Or is it just because I'm spectating and not racing? Okay, well, I think it's just me. It's disconnected. That's really pissed me off. I think it's because I'm spectating, and because the fan zone season has ended. It's kicked me out, thinking, oh yeah, he's not racing. Who cares? I mean, has the F1 game not heard of league racing? Like, seriously? Come on. That's just dumb. So, still feeling a bit under the weather. Sorry, guys. Do apologise. And this hasn't helped. But anyway, Glenn is leading by 6.5 seconds on those medium tyres. I was saying a few moments ago, I think Scott would have a chance on his fresher hards at the end without a penalty, but I don't think he's going to catch Glenn. In fact, I'm almost 100% certain he won't, because he's 7 seconds, 8 seconds, maybe 10 seconds behind him at the back of this train, so I don't think that's going to happen. Justify is trying to make up positions here in these closing stages, but yeah, suddenly Glenn, after these 3 laps, I think, after this restart, has just disappeared down the road. Actually, it's a bit more than 3 laps. I think it was, about 13 laps from the end, wasn't it? So we had 5 laps since the restart, but Glenn has absolutely disappeared into the distance here on this restart. And we now look to see Matty Pitt challenging on the back of G.C. with his 6-lap fresher tyres. He's going to have a chance, surely. Yeah, I'm back in, mate. I'm back in. Can you hear me? So Matty there makes the move there into turn 1 as he goes down the inside. So that's a nice move there from Matty Pitt into the podium places on his fresher tyres. He should be able to move ahead of Drago without any problems. But Matty might come under threat here from Scott, because Scott's on the same age tyres, but he also needs to make his way through the traffic here. So Scott could have a bit of a challenge here to get himself back into this race. It was because I was spectating and the fan zone season ended at 9 PM, and so the game kicked me out because it thought I wasn't racing. I mean, I wasn't racing, but I'm still busy. Do you know what I mean? I've got a race to commentate. Anyway, I've got a terrible cold and it's making me very, very moody. I've had this cold since Sunday. And yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Don't exactly help the matter on Monday, I must admit, but the less said about that, the better. Anyway, Scott is still on the back of Drago here as they come into turn 2. Sorry, I mean Matty's still on the back of Drago, should I say? Why did I say Scott? Do you get those moments where you say something and then you can sort of hear yourself say it? You sort of like, not actually physically hear yourself say it, but you kind of like, it's almost like you hear you see or say it in real time, and then you suddenly play back what you just heard, and it's like, hold on a second, no, I didn't say that right, did I? Street Boy with a 3-second penalty there for track limits, and now becomes the latest driver to pick up a 3-second penalty. So drivers who are going to be in contention right now, Matty is on much fresher hard tyres. His tyres will be quicker than Clen's in the closing stages, but Clen's already well ahead and should have this win pretty much in the bag. I was saying a few laps ago, Matty might come under pressure here from Scott, who is on the hard tyres as well, but saying that Matty's pulling away massively here and Scott's still stuck in traffic, so could be very tricky here for Scott to get himself on the podium here tonight. Although the drivers in front of him have got penalties, so he has got the opportunity here to get it done. But Matty too far back on Drago into turn 1. T was looking to the inside of G.C. but couldn't make the move there into turn 1. G.C. on very worn out hard tyres. T on the mediums. That's going to be close between those two at the end. Their tyres are going to be both battered in these closing laps, that's for sure. Street Boy still being challenged by Oliver for P9 as they go into turn 2 here on lap 30. And we see Truckee in the pits, so he's putting the soft tyres on and going for a quick dash to the flag here by the looks of it. Oh, pardon me. Might be worth getting a session in the sauna. That's a good shout. It would mean having to find one, but yeah. No, I'm sure there's one at the leisure centre, but yeah. Anyway, Matty's moved ahead of Drago up into second place. So now he's, well, that's job done there for Matty. Question is though, has Scott got the minerals to be able to chase him down here for third place or stay within 3 seconds here? Scott's got to get on the back of G.C. and T, and T's currently pulling away from him at the moment, so Scott doesn't seem to have the pace at this point. Oh, he's got a penalty now as well. So Scott, he had that trump card, didn't have a penalty, now he does. Justify right behind him doesn't, but is being held up a bit here, so could be in a bit of a pickle. But if Justify can clear Scott quickly here and close him onto the back of T, I mean, Justify could potentially maybe get on the podium here, although that might be a bit of a stretch. Drago currently occupies that final podium spot a few seconds up the road, albeit with a penalty. But I mean, all their tyres are going to be absolutely destroyed at this point. It's just a case of who's looked after them the best and who can drive, who can still extract the pace regardless at this point. But Justify looking to the outside now as we go into turn 1. Scott holds the inside now. Justify goes for the switch back here as they come out of the corner. Is he going to be able to go around the outside? He can't quite do it there. Didn't get a good enough exit out of turn 1, and Scott hangs on for the time being. Drago still keeping Matty on his toes. The pressure is on in this fight for second place still. Matty hasn't got it done yet despite those fresher tyres. Is still facing heavy pressure from the Haas car. G.C. can't seem to keep with them at this moment. Just over a second behind there, running in 4th place. T a couple of seconds back with Scott. Justify all over the back of Scott here. Let's just follow to the inside there of Scott, but just a little bit too far away there as he came into the final sector. He had a little look there, but wasn't in range to be able to make that move. Was definitely thinking about it, but it wasn't going to happen. As here comes Justified to the outside now on Scott into turn 1 as Scott goes nicely late on the brakes, but Justified's going to keep it around the outside as they now come down towards turn 2 again. Scott though with a good exit out of turn 1, and Justified nothing doing there into turn 2, has to hold opposition once again. White Shadow says what's with the penalties? Oh, let's have a look, shall we? Gosh, we'll have a look. Oh, okay, so Matty's got 6 seconds. Nope. So Drago will pick up P2 at the moment. T could get on the podium yet, actually. T could get P2. Looking at the gaps at the moment, if T were to stay within 3 seconds of Drago, he will get second place. Currently running in P5 at the moment is T. but could very much be in with a shout here of a second place. I mean, Scott here is running in P6. If he can find a second on G.C. he might be able to get fifth. But that might be a bit of a tall order, I have to say. Justify should be able. Justify might be on for a P5 as well, actually. Who knows? I mean, Justify could be on for a P4. As here we go, look to the inside as Scott there, aggressive defence there. That was a late move to the inside to defend there from Justify. Justify had nowhere to go. Has DRS again here. This time gets a better exit, but further back than before, and just nowhere near close enough into turn 2. And Scott, wow, that was a late move there to defend that position to the inside. That was close there between those two, I have to say. But Justify still stuck behind the Mercedes here as they battle it out over P6. Glenn is still running in first place at the moment. It's got an 11-second lead over Matty Pitt. Glenn has been in dominant form tonight. Only driver who was able to match him for pace was Justify, but due to a very chaotic race for Justify, some uncharacteristic mistakes, a spin or half spin and putting it in the wall midway through the race has really put paid to his chances of fighting it out for the race win here tonight. Justify now looking to the inside of Scott, but just a little bit too far away there as they came into the final sector. Justify now looking to the outside into the penultimate corner. Is he going to go all the way around Scott here? I think he is. And once again, I've disconnected again from the fucking... What is going on? I have no words. I'm just getting really pissed off, man. Oh god. Alright, sorry everyone. Sorry for this. Just my connection keeps on going out. I think I actually do know why. It's because I'm connected through a LAN cable and it keeps the internet's just it just doesn't fucking work. Nah, sorry everyone. Sorry. Right, here we are then. Final lap of the race. Glenn has taken the win and is your dominant race winner here in Hungary tonight. Matty is second with T over in third place. G.C. has taken fourth ahead of Draga, fifth with Justify over in P6. Mark seventh, Scott eighth. Street Boy coming out of the final corner here is going to take home ninth place ahead of John, who completes the top 10. Oliver in P11. But well done to Glenn, Matty and T on taking the podium places. And apologies that we missed them coming over the line, but that's just, unfortunately, the way tonight has gone. But never mind. Who cares? Oh, so that's that then. So Glenn is taking the win ahead of Matty and T. With G.C. ahead of Drauga, Justify, Mark, Scott, Street Boy, John. Round out the points paying positions with Oliver and Truckee and C. Faulkner. Thanks everybody for watching. And yeah.